Hey everyone, it is Tuesday, and you know what that means. It's the Week 6 NFL opening line report, where I ask you to leave some comments here on what you think about this week's action. I'll tell you what my initial thoughts are and reactions, raw and candid, as I haven't seen any lines at all as of Tuesday morning. Been concentrating a lot on getting ready for the NHL. Um, we'll have picks out on Wednesday, by the way, not the opening day Tuesday. And also looking ahead to this weekend's slate of college football. So these are my initial thoughts and reactions. Leave your comments in the comments section as always. I get hundreds of comments and thousands of views on this video, so I can't go through every single one of them, but I highlight the ones that I like, that I see early on in the week, and I leave my comments, my reactions back to what you think. And post your comments just straight up as well. Leave out the F-bombs and the haters and, links to porn sites and other services coming in, giving you links to the Super Lock of the Century page. So we'll get that going for you. Let's get after it here today. DocSports.com, free $60. Link in the description below. I'm going to move that camera over a little bit. Be sure and get my Dan Marino helmet in there. And, of course, my Kramer Strat. I'll swap out. Somebody says, you're not swapping out guitars like you used to all the time. I'll swap it out and get a different one up there for this upcoming week. So, been playing my other ones. But nonetheless, not a good week for me in the NFL. I had the Saints on Monday night. Didn't happen. We had the Jaguars. A lot of you got them at -2.5. We put it out on Thursday, but we had to grade it as a push, and then we lost a couple total. We were playing unders this weekend. That didn't work out. Overs were everywhere, all over the board. Guys were scoring like crazy this week in the NFL, and every now and then you're going to have one of those weekends, and this was one of those weekends. I went 2-3 in the circuit contest after a bunch of 4-1 weeks, so that pissed me off. So this week, I'm going to be ready for the NFL. Probably go low volume and high units and find a couple of biggies, nail them, and get the hell out of there with some money. Let's get after it. Let's take a look at these games and get you on your way. The Thursday night game, I'm going to need a cup of coffee here. Well, just sitting around a fence post, having a cup of coffee, taking a piss, just shooting the breeze about the football games this weekend. Initial reactions and thoughts. That's what it's all about. There's no reason this can't be fun. San Francisco. On the road, divisional game at Seattle. Seattle is catching 3 at home on a short week. Total 47.5. Yeah, and San Francisco's giving it up on defense in divisional games. 45 this weekend or something like that? 51 remember that game against the Chargers or Rams? I had the over in that. San Francisco, everybody's favorite to win the NFC and go on and play Kansas City in the Super Bowl. Part 2, well, actually part 3, since they beat them twice now in the Super Bowl in the Mahomes regime. Initial thought was I'd take the under. You'd think San Francisco's going to win sooner or later, huh? Seattle off a loss against the Giants. That was embarrassing. 6.5-point home favorite. Geno Smith isn't the answer. They should have never got rid of Drew Lock there in Seattle. I'd take a look at the under in that. Short week, offenses, I don't know. Boy. Seems like you'd want to lay it with San Francisco. They're giving it up. Metcalf and Lockett running around and Smith. I don't know. Stick Seattle in the teaser somewhere. Let's get over to Chicago and Jacksonville on Sunday. Jacksonville, the worst pass defense I've ever seen in my 33 years of handicapping football. Horrific. And Chicago's getting it going on offense. They're 2.5. Over and under is 44. Give me Chicago. Washington getting 6.5 at Baltimore. Total 52.5. Two things come to mind. Washington goes in a teaser somewhere, and the over. Yeah. Baltimore's defense sucks. And Washington's no good either. And Washington can't stop anybody running the ball. Hello, Derrick Henry. And Washington can score. Jaden Daniels is no joke. He's a real deal. New England at home catching 7 against Houston. Total 37.5. That looks too good to be true. New England just lost to Miami with Hunley at quarterback. There's your teaser. Houston down to -1. Washington plus 12.5. Put it in the bank. I also would take the points in that because it doesn't make any sense. Cleveland getting 8.5 at Philadelphia. There's another teaser. Get Philadelphia down to 2.5 under the fall number of 3. That's not going to stick around. We got mine at 8.5. Cleveland's terrible. They're on the road, back to back. They just got waxed last week. Philadelphia's had a bye week to get their act together. I'd take a look at that under 43. What did Philadelphia score? 16 last week and like 15 or 14 the week before. Their offense is broken and not working. And what's Cleveland going to do? I'd probably take a look at that under there. That might be like a 21-7 type ball game. 24-7 type ball game. Indianapolis, the Colts, Joe Flacco at Tennessee. Tennessee off a bye. Tennessee is at home catching 1. Total 43.5. Colts gave Jacksonville all they wanted, and they were beat up as piss. You want to take a look at the injury report on this before you start going crazy? Divisional game. Let's take a look at this a minute. They should have beat they were down 14 to Jacksonville with 5 minutes left and tied it up. Flacco had 360, throwing the ball, 3 touchdowns. They lost by 6 they've lost both their road games this year. The Colts have. They lost at Green Bay, only managed 10 points. The last week they put up 34 in regulation. They gave up 3 in overtime. Tennessee won at Miami. Got it going finally. I'd lean Tennessee in that game. Sooner or later, all those injuries are going to catch up. But Tennessee's a lot better defensively than what Jacksonville was. Arizona, off the big win against San Francisco on the road at Green Bay, who struggled to beat a very depleted Rams team. Total 49.5. Wow. Up in Lambeau, Arizona. Back-to-back roadies, although the last road trip was, hour flight, if not even that. Cardinals, I said it at the beginning of this year. From a win-loss perspective, they're probably not going to scare anybody, but they play hard for that coach, and they've got a good team, and Connors is no joke. Yeah, Washington spanked them. Detroit, they played some high-flying teams. They beat the Rams, who Green Bay had a lot of trouble with this week. They beat the Rams 41-10. Give me the 5. Give me the 5. 5's a bad number to lay in the NFL. Tampa Bay at New Orleans. New Orleans, I thought, could cover against Kansas City, car went out. Kansas City played a lot better than I thought they would. That was Kansas City's best game this year. And it still wasn't great, but that's the best game they played. Kansas City's 5-0 and haven't played a good game all year long. Mahomes had over 300 yards passing and no touchdowns. And Kareem Hunt looks like a good running back. But that being said, Tampa Bay minus 2.5. Total 42.5 at the Saints on a short week. Back-to-back roadies for Tampa. That Atlanta game was a debacle on Monday night. Oh, man, Sunday night. Sunday night, yeah, I'm looking at this. Over 42.5. Pittsburgh, Las Vegas. Steelers laying 3. Total 36.5. Give me the under. Give me the under in that one. That's going to be a low-scoring game. Numbers about right, but I'd lean under. I mean, the thing about the Steelers is they need a quarterback. Justin Fields ain't it. They don't have a vertical game. Pickens is non-existent. They don't have any deep threats. Pittsburgh wants to run the football. I don't know why they don't roll him out and have more passes downfield. I'm not sold on their offensive coordinator there, and I'm not sold on anything that Las Vegas is doing. That might be a low-scoring, grinded-out, last guy with the ball wins, 17-13 type game. I'd play under. Denver at home, catching 3 against the Chargers, total 35.5. You probably want to lean under there. I need to check the health of the Chargers in that game. Boy, that's a tough one. Probably lean under 35.5. That's got to be the lowest total on the board. That's up there for a reason. Especially if the Chargers get healthier on defense. I'd play the under in that game. Detroit at Dallas. Detroit laying 3.5. 52.5 is the total. Over. Atlanta, Carolina. What do you think about that side play in that game, by the way? Yeah, I'd have to lean Detroit. If you could buy it, I'd buy it off the 3.5. I'd buy it down to -3 at 120. But I could only, and they're -170 on the money line, which isn't all that bad, actually. Detroit's just better than Dallas. Detroit's defense, the only way to look at that game, if you're teasing totals, get that down to 46.5 and take the over and put it with something else. But yeah, yeah, it's probably gonna go over. That should be a shot. I could see Detroit having 24 at halftime. I don't know what Dallas can do. It depends. CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott aren't getting along real well. Carolina getting 6 at home against Atlanta, 47.5 is the total. They had Bryce Young in there for a while. Atlanta and a teaser. I'd lay it. I could only lay it in that game. I couldn't take it. Cincinnati on the road at the Giants. Giants catching 3.5. Cincinnati, all of a sudden we're a road favorite now. with one win. Giants off of a huge win. Interesting dichotomy here. Cincinnati is 4-1 to the over this year, as versus the Giants, who are 1-4 to the over this year. 48.5. I might lean a little bit under in that game. That's a Sunday night game. And the Monday night game, Robert Saleh has been fired as the New York Jets head coach. They should have fired Hackett too, the offensive coordinator. The Jets are a broken machine. Buffalo, Josh Allen has never looked so bad in his life. The game before this last game, Allen looked as good as he's ever looked, and he looked as bad as he ever looked against Houston. Buffalo's 2.5, total 41. I'd lean under. I'd lean under for sure. And the New York Jets, I've been telling you all year long, I think they're a terrible team. You know, told you on the Gridiron Six-Pack, take Minnesota. Go square. You know, and Rodgers is on the downside of a career. It looks like he's 40 years old. And he's beat up. They have no vertical game whatsoever. They have no deep threat. So they know, Bryce Hall's going to run the ball. Or he's going to throw it. He's going to dink and dunk out of the backfield with Hall and Allen. Shutting them down offensively is freaking easy. Minnesota did it. Anybody that's beating them, that's how you're doing it. They've only had one overall year long. Buffalo only 2. 41, though, is about right. I think that'd be 40. How are you going to react? I don't even know. The news is just fresh. Interim head coach, who's that going to be? If it's Hackett, take Buffalo for sure. But what are you going to do if you're the Jets? It looked like that Rodgers was trying to get him kicked out of there or fired anyway. The love affair did not last long. Aaron Rodgers is not people friendly. He just isn't. If you're a huge Aaron Rodgers fan, so be it. I admire his talent. I have for years, but his people skills leave a lot to be desired. Buffalo's not as bad as they looked last week. They just, again, you saw the difference last week between a good coach and a bad coach. McDermott is not that great of a coach, where Houston's coach is a rock star. He's a good coach. It's a well-coached football team. And as bad as Buffalo played, they had trouble beating them. Give me Buffalo -2.5 on Monday night. Early lean. I'm Tony George. That's where you need to be, DocSports.com. Leave your comments in the comments section about what you think. What are your teasers? You got any money line parlays you want to do? You want to talk about? You want to tell me that my initial reaction is wrong? Let me have it. Tell me what's going on, brothers and sisters. Doc Sports, place to be. We're going to have a kick-ass week this week in the NFL. After I think we won 2 weekends in a row. Top picks are still unbeaten. The 7-unit picks in the NFL this year. I saw one in here we're going to uncork on. Could even be a game of the year. FYI. But nonetheless, get over to Docs, leave your comments, and get over to Docs this week. Get ready for Kick Butt NFL. NHL starts up on today, Tuesday. I'll have picks out on Wednesday. We use the total system. 75% of my picks are totals. I always thought you narrow it down. Think about this. About 75% of the totals in the NHL are sitting around 6. Are they going to score more than 6, or are they not going to score more than 6? We came up with an algorithm last year. Worked well. Kind of fell off in the playoffs last year after a killer regular season. I'm going to correct that. We made some changes and adjusted that bad boy for the postseason. But yeah, it's here. NBA around the corner, college basketball around the corner, college football. Big play this weekend as well in college football. Doc Sports, where you need to be. Ton of free information over there. 11 other handicappers, consensus services, you name it, we got it. Go check it out. 99.9% of the stuff over there. One thing that costs money over there is picks. Don't want to buy any picks? Don't buy any. Go get informed.